Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Love Your Vibe podcast. I'm your host, Sean Grant. Welcome again to another fantastic episode documenting different ways to really allow you to step your life up. And, honestly, Love Your Vibe is just that. That's what that term means. To love your vibe means to love who you are, love your energy, love everything amazing about you, even what other people don't think is amazing. But that's what it comes down to. And that's what today's episode is kind of centered around. Something that has kind of fallen under the radar. I've been an advocate, not only an advocate, but an avid participant in self-awareness, self-improvement, self-help, new age, new thought, consciousness, all of these things. And, to be honest with you, I discovered something not long ago that really kind of took me by surprise, because what it showed me was that positive self-talk is something that is so overlooked when it comes to helping people to turn their lives around. And I'm reminded of Reverend Ike. If you're not sure who Reverend Ike is, he was he kind of was in that same frame of mind as Ernest Holmes. But anyway, he started like this huge ministry in church around science of the mind. And he really, really helped fundamentalists and traditional theologians really capture the idea of what it meant to have good in their lives, total well-being, prosperity, all those wonderful things. And so one thing he spoke of so much was positive self-image psychology, okay? And this is kind of what we're going to get into today. I've got a book by my side that some things I want to get to. It's called Beyond Positive Thinking by Dr. Robert Anthony. And it's a no-nonsense formula for getting what you want. This book is absolutely amazing. In every sense of the word, in a way Robert Anthony breaks it down for you, is truly inspiring and truly terrific. And I'm just happy to share some of the stuff that I had picked up out of it. And so, anywho, getting back to this self-talk, the majority of the people you meet, you can honestly tell what type of self-talk they have just by how they operate, just by the behavior, just by the things that they say. Because, we cannot transform or change our lives until we reach a place where we are changing our behavior. And in order to change your behavior, you have to start from the source, which is your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind controls what your image, your outpicturing of life will be. Case in point, we always hear a lot of times about certain things we can't say. Because here's the tricky thing with the subconscious mind. You can say something and not mean it, but your subconscious mind can take it as true, and all of a sudden you've created a block or an obstacle for yourself that you can't really understand why it's happening, why it's unfolding. To give you a plain example of it, you hear somebody say, well, you know what? Money doesn't grow on trees. And so the subconscious, what it does, it picks up the feeling from that. When somebody says money doesn't grow on trees, what they're basically saying is money isn't easily accessible. It's hard to get money. It's not just out here somewhere. So guess what? Your subconscious is going to take that, because your subconscious takes your opinion, not even really the truth of what's happening. It takes your opinion, and then it makes that true. So all of a sudden you have a hard time finding money. But if you switch that self-talk, and something that I've been doing for a while now, and I've had my wife do, is whenever I go into the store, wherever I need to circulate money, I always say I always have more than enough money for everything that I need. Money is coming to me from all different types of channels. Money is always in my life. It's always present in my life. It always allows me to do the things that I love to do. Whenever I receive money, I start affirming, because here's what happens. you create. So like when you receive a check in the mail, it creates a sense of joy, a strong emotion of joy. So let's just say if you were to receive that check and you immediately said with that feeling of joy you have, I always receive money in the mail. I always get money in the mail. I'm receiving money all the time from so many different, from unlimited channels. And you say that, your subconscious mind is going to take that information and create it to be true. That's what it does. It's the ultimate creator of your life. That's what it's designed to do. So it's like when you feel like you're coming up against walls, you really have to kind of figure out, okay, what am I telling myself on a deeper level? What am I really like feeling like? I told the story how yesterday, if you listen to yesterday's podcast, which was absolutely awesome, we talked about the psychology of success. And this ties right into it. And I talked about how there was a coach that, called me Can't Grant when I was struggling with injury. Well, at that moment, that clicked something inside of me that said I would never be Can't Grant, and whatever I decided to do, I was going to be a success at it. And from that point on, pretty much, I would say 96% of the things I participated in, I became a success, and not only just a success, but a big success in those things, and success is different to different people. But to me, I was successful because of that moment that helped me to change my self-talk. So if I ever got into a situation where it seemed like a struggle, where it seemed like nothing was going right, immediately I started talking myself. I was like, you know what? I always succeed. I'm resilient. I'm powerful. I'm strong. I'm capable. I'm dynamic. I am an unlimited being. I'm going to see this through to success until the very end. And I'm feeling that with emotion. And my subconscious mind is like, yeah, let's do it, And so it creates the circumstances and the environment for that to happen. Oftentimes, if you are struggling, if your life is not where you want it to be, if you're in a job that's a shithole, excuse my French, but it's so many jobs are like that. You have to rediscover a new self-image. Zig Ziglar is one of my favorite motivational speakers. And what's so funny is, to a lot of people, his message seemed generic, but it was so inspiring when you really understood what he was talking about. And one of the things that stood out to me recently that I finally figured out, he would always say, attitude determines altitude, which basically your attitude determines how far you go in life. And I never really got that. And then Louise Hay came along and she gave this affirmation that seemed so simple, but it was so powerful. And it was just, I love and approve of myself completely. I love and approve of myself completely. And so I put those two together. I'm like, okay, why do these things work? Why do they believe in them so much? And it's because they create positive self-talk, which then creates positive self-image, right? And that's the truth of what really matters as it comes down to us being the very best that we can be in receiving the very best in our lives. So I want to move to Robert Anthony's book real quick. It's like this. There's so many great things out in this book, but if you have the chance, definitely pick it up, because it is one of those things that, it's a life changer. So I'm going to read something for you. I think it's in the second chapter. It talks about, forcing change creates failure. But it says, once I recognize I am a self-made person, both in success and failure, and that this success or failure is mine to control, I will stop saying I have to and instead say I choose to. Okay? So what that means, and the reason I read that excerpt, because it tells you right away that you are in power. You are in power. You are in charge of what unfolds in your life to a very, very high degree. Now, this can change when there's soul lessons being learned and the universe sort of delays things so you can learn lessons to progress from an emotional standpoint and a spiritual standpoint. But ultimately, when we think about our day-to-day, we really have to think, okay, what kind of thoughts are we resonating with? What kind of thoughts are we putting feeling into that are operating in our lives? All you got to do is look at what's unfolding. Look at what's happening in your life right now. Like, is it a life you love? Do you feel abundant? Do you feel prosperous? Do you feel happy? Do you wake up saying, oh my God, I love it. I love it. Because if not, then there's more to improve upon. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just you just hadn't been taught. The crazy thing is this stuff should be taught in like kindergarten, like writing down affirmations about how amazing you are, how capable you are. Even if you don't believe it, if our school systems would start having kids do that at such a young age, it's amazing the type of individuals we have that would be confident, capable, dynamic, doing anything that they chose, as opposed to kids struggling to fit in, committing suicide, shooting up schools. It all gets back to the mindset and to the positive self-image. That's what needs to be cultivated. But the school system doesn't seem like they're going to do that anytime soon. So we have to take it upon ourselves. And if you have kids or younger nephews and nieces and stuff like that and cousins, bestow it upon them. Tell them how great they are. Applaud them. That's one thing I feel like my parents didn't necessarily do till later on in life, was really reassure me that I was capable. A lot of times I was looking for it from somebody. I couldn't find it until I was able to give it to myself. But you have the opportunity now to give it to yourself and to give it to everybody around you. Like, bestow, birth confidence in everybody you meet. Birth confidence in yourself. Wake up, go into the mirror and say, I love myself. I love myself unconditionally. I approve of myself. I'm a success. I'm capable of some amazing things. All things are going to work out for me today perfectly. I'm going to prosper everywhere I turn. I'm going to enjoy this day because I'm just excited about who I am and who I'm destined to be. Let's do this. Let's get this going, right? You almost have to be your own motivational speaker to a degree. And that will move you into a place. You'll start to slowly see your life change in your favor, especially like what I just said. I feel in my heart. And if I'm feeling it, that means my subconscious is picking it up, which means my subconscious is going to make sure that this becomes my reality. Because you know what? The most beautiful thing about the subconscious mind, and Robert Anthony talks about this in his book, the subconscious mind, right? It will always match up to your dominant self-belief, okay? And I'll show you, for example. I reached a point where I really wanted financial freedom. And when I mean by financial freedom, I'm not talking about necessarily being a billionaire, but being so financially on point that I could take care of my needs, take care of my desires, do the things that I chose to do, have my time, really decide what I wanted to take part in because it brought me joy, not because I had to do it. So you know what I did? I started priming my subconscious mind. I started writing down every night 100 times, I'm prosperous, I'm wealthy, I'm abundant. The God in me makes me prosperous, wealthy, and abundant. I started affirming. I'd be standing in the line at the grocery store. I have so much money. Like, money's coming to me from everywhere. I'm prosperous, wealthy, and abundant. I'm so thankful that I am this way. I'm going to be this way for the rest of my life. And I started to do that. And before long, it started to come and formulate itself into my life. Even now, I don't worry when money seems like it's about to run out because I know my subconscious mind believes completely, entirely. Its image is of wealth, prosperity, and abundance, which means that regardless of what happens in the physical world, I'm always going to be reset to wealth, prosperity, and abundance because that is my positive self-image. That is the image that I've created to have regardless of what's going on in my life. So you know what that does? That tells me that I never need to be in a place to where I'm worrying about anything because I've already programmed myself to know. And it never fails. It never fails. I feel like, or even I see like, okay, my accounts start to go down and then something comes in, they come right back up because it is my self-image that I've created that keeps me at that level. And I tell you, money is just one example. When you start to do this with relationships, you find that the people you really love and enjoy come into your life. Case in point, my wife. I love her so much. She's my best friend. Spend so much time with her. And it's because, like, of the image we've cultivated within our subconscious minds and in our souls to be connected. You know, you start doing it with your career. All of a sudden, you've got a career that you absolutely love, whether you're an entrepreneur working for somebody else. You're doing what you absolutely love every single day. You can do this for any area of your life, guys, and it will work. You just got to stick with it. No matter what conditions say, no matter what appearances say, talk yourself up. Who cares if you look crazy? I talk to myself all the time, and people walk by me like, "Oh my God, this dude is nuts." But I rather look nuts, you know, to you right now and watch all the amazing things come into my life automatic than to worry about what you're thinking about me looking as I'm talking out loud to myself. So it comes down to that positive self-talk, which leads to that positive, uplifting self-image. Start now. It can be something as, I'm so capable. Everything is working out for me. I am so dynamic. I am so blessed. I am blessed at every turn of my life. I am prospered. I am loved unconditionally. I love myself unconditionally. There's only good things happen for me, right? Something as simple as saying that, and get revved up when you're saying it, because that's going to make it come to pass even quicker, because your subconscious mind is going to pick up on that and carry out that vibration, and it will skyrocket your life, guys. Trust me on this. Trust me. Even if you got to just give it a week or a few days, by that time you'll feel so much different. You'll want to make sure it's a lifetime commitment, and that's what it comes down to, is ensuring that you're doing this all the time, even when it looks like from the outside that it's not working. Because trust, when you start feeling better about stuff, that's when you know it's working. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure. We'll talk soon. Check out that book when you get a chance, Beyond Positive Thinking by Dr. Robert Anthony. Take care.